Our training is going to the next level with MAPS PD. Hello and welcome to another review. Today we are going to review MAPS PED. Before I go into it, feel free to like the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of MAPS PED if you've done it. I have not really met anyone online or in real life who went through the program, but I'm sure there are a few who did it, so share it because it's really an advanced program. Subscribe to my channel, feel free to share the video with friends or my channel with friends to let everything grow organically. That's pretty much what I'm doing, step by step growing my channel. Now, MAPS PD, let's get into it. MAPS PD has been published, I think it was in 2019, so it has been out for quite a time now. And it's by far the most extreme, most advanced, most demanding training template that Mind Pump has published. So what does that mean overall? Well, let's start with the name, the obvious one, MAPS PED. It's kind of a double take on the acronym. The obvious one for a program like this is PD for performance enhancing drugs like steroids, typical ones, testosterone, D-bol and stuff like this. So that is the obvious one, but they said in the podcast a few times that it's really playing around with the name a bit. And PD in this context actually stands for performance enhanced design, a take on that the program is well designed for better enhanced performance. So there's like this double take, but really, as this is a very high frequency 2 sessions a day training template, it's kind of obvious that people who are enhanced in terms of drug use will definitely benefit from this template. How is this template structured? You have 4 different phases. You have a strength phase, a size phase, a pump and a peak phase. So right off the bat, a bit different than the other ones, as they only have usually 3 phases. Similar to the idea of MAPS Strong and MAPS Powerlift, you have a peak phase, so you will get in peak performance here if you are trying to get ready for photo shooting or you go on stage on a bodybuilding stage. So you can use this template for this too, which definitely is cool if you are into this. And something that is also different is that while the other ones have X weeks of training for each template, here it's done a little differently. So each phase has 24 total workouts instead of weeks. So you go a bit differently through the template. I will come to the calendar a bit later. You have every few sessions, you have a deload sessions where you really don't do any lifting at all. You're doing some body weight movements, let's say kind of yoga, something that you have learned in MAPS Prime or Prime Pro, stuff that really helps you to stay in shape, going through range of motions. There is no cardio in this, and it's not really meant for cardio because you are doing really already a lot in terms of trainings. Your total caloric expenditure will be significantly high enough. Me personally, I probably would use this template not in a cut, but at least on maintenance calories, if not in a bulk, so in a surplus, because going through all of these sets and reps every day, twice a day, almost every day, twice a day, I personally would like to build as much muscle as I can doing it. So I would try to gain and not to lose. But that's me. Some of they give straight up the tip for unilateral movement to start with the weaker side, something that I personally do too, because I really try to get my weaker side up and not my stronger side stronger. There are different approaches to this, but that's one way to go, which is fine. The rest periods are somewhat short, even if it's a heavy set. You will rest between 1 to 3 minutes. So even if you do 5 sets of 5, only for 3 minutes resting is quite demanding. Then the whole program comes in 2 different levels. You have the level 1, which they call advanced, and the level 2, which they call extreme. The main difference in setup is that you train in the level 1 advanced, you are 3 days on and 2 days off, and in the extreme version, the more difficult version, you train 3 days on and 1 day off, which makes it a bit harder to recover from it in the long run. So that's really where probably the extreme version is most likely the one where you need external help in form of drugs if you really want to get out of this, and unless you are some random genetic freak who just recovers from everything no matter what happens. But the other one I think you can do. I will, once I'm done with everything in the end, I will give you my take on how I would do this in a natural way, trying to get the most out of it, to give you my personal take on it. So they recommend that you have been lifting 1 to 2 years consistently for the advanced one, and 2 to 3 years of consistent lifting experience for the extreme version. I'm not sure what they really mean with 1 to 2 years or 2 to 3 years. I think the first 2 years of your lifting career really don't count. That's really a lot of newbie gains and learning the skills of the different, or especially of the compound movements. For most people this will probably take time, a lot more time than they want to believe, because it's not that easy to make it really somewhat second nature. So I would actually add another 1 to 2 years to all of these levels in my experience, just unless you are really athletic and you learned the squat by looking at it once and then doing it twice and then you're good to go, because it actually, I think, takes time. But you know, that's my take. So let's jump into phase 1, the strength phase. How is it set up? As I said, the in terms of calendar, it really depends on which level you do, but overall you have an AM session and a PM session. For the strength phase, this really looks like you have somewhat of you have a full body split throughout the day in AM and PM, or both combined really train pretty much all of your body. So that's kind of similarly for every day, but you will mix up compound movements and isolation movements, which really gives you, well, you will do all the big compound ones like bench press, deadlifts, squats, shoulder presses, everything like this. So that's all part of it, really mixed with cable work or dumbbell work or machine work. So really giving you actually a chance to recover from everything. So if everything would be done with the barbell, it would be quite heavy and hard to recover in the long run, because it's just a lot of total stress on your body, which you can quite reduce. You know, doing a barbell row just is a different kind of stress on your body than doing a chest supported row, where you really just can row and everything, and not the whole body needs to stabilize in order for you to row. That makes a big difference. This is how it's pretty much set up in terms of strength. So you're doing 4 sets of 5, 5 sets of 5, and some heavy volume in terms of 4 sets of 10 or 5 sets of 10, which are 3 sets of 10. Not really easy. It's really a lot of work. It's hard work, but it looks really, really fun. They have exercise videos demonstrating all the movements. You also have a full workout for each. Basically everything is filmed by them, so you can go through each AM or PM workout just by clicking on the blueprint. That's pretty cool. You get many coaching cues, so you will be informed well enough to know what to look for. So that's very enjoyable in my opinion. It really helps if you are unsure about how to do something, which makes up, you know, other programs. They just give you the template. They're a lot cheaper. Even if they're good, they're a lot cheaper, and they don't often have this kind of exercise video selection, or especially not this kind of coaching cues overlaid on the video. So this was quite a lot throughout all of the MAPS programs. So size is something I really would say is heavy volume. That's like how I like to call it. This is really 4 sets of 10, 5 sets of 10 will we work, where you're really trying to work somewhat heavy weight for many reps and sets. Sounds a lot easier than it is, in my opinion. I have been doing Wendler's 5-3-1 for quite a while, and he has basically the 5-3-1 sets, and then later on 5 sets of 10, where you end up working with 70% of your 1 RM for bench, deadlift, overhead press and squat. And this is really, it doesn't sound like a lot, but this is really hard work and where you can get out a lot of it. Here basically you have a whole phase dedicated to this, where I think that is going to be quite challenging for many who have never done 5 sets of 10 on a deadlift, because that just hits you very differently than just doing 2 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 10. The last 2 sets really are hard, difficult and rough, and really mess up your head. You really have to want this if you want to get through this. But that's how the workouts look like. Phase 3 is a pump phase, and here you will get more into the body building ideas, or you will have sets of 12 more or less, doing compound sets, so kind of like supersets, where you're mixing opposite muscle groups basically. So you're doing a press and a row, something like this, to make it obvious. So you press for a set and then you row for a set, which is quite well. It's a good way of getting a lot of work into a little time, because while you accumulate some overall fatigue from one set to another, the muscles by themselves of course have some time to recover, because if you do rows, you really don't need your triceps, your front delt or your pecs doing it at all. And then if you bench, you need your lats and your back to stabilize the whole bench setup, sure, but you're not really actively involved in it. So one muscle group can recover from the other, so that's a cool thing. Gets you into a lot of volume in a short amount of time, and hence it's the pump session basically. So you're doing something similar in the morning and in the evening throughout the training days. Lastly, the fourth phase, the peak phase, where you are really supersetting everything in a way that you will sometimes work the opposite muscle, or sometimes work the same type of muscle group. Like, let's stick with the bench press. So you might do heavy bench presses in the peaking phase, really trying to keep or gain your muscle and giving your body a reason to keep it by doing heavy sets, followed by dumbbell flies for a volume set, so meaning 15 reps. So, and something like this they managed to do basically for all the muscle groups, and really giving you a lot of volume, which this is really the biggest thing in MAPS PED. It's a lot of volume. Even like an AM or a PM session by itself for many might be a lot of volume already. So just here for where I'm looking at the first day of the peak phase, you have 9 heavy chest sets. You will do heavy deadlifts. You will do something more for your back and for your pecs, basically doing 3 supersets and some extra deadlift and back work. This could be a whole training day for your average training split person. It's a lot of work, and this is just the AM part. Then on the PM part, you will work your shoulders a big time, which could be just a shoulder day for many people by themselves. You will work your biceps, your triceps. So as I said, it's always a bit of a full body workout or every session, and they're trying to play around with the volume from one day to another, as I said, and trying to use the machines in a way, or load placement in a way that you actually have a chance to recover. So this is quite demanding, but it looks like a lot of fun. So it's not a program I have ever done, but it's I really would like to do it one day. So let's put it like this. But before I get to MAPS PED, I definitely have to do MAPS Split, which I review too. It's a bit different. Yeah, and then lastly, the Deload Session, which you do on all the non-foundational training days. It's a bunch of exercises where you do something like 90-90s or handcuffs with rotation, just to not get super stiff, because you never do any kind of these movements. And let's also say it's kind of a full body movement flow session, so it's something for everything from head to toe, which is really cool. So now switching again to the calendar, just to give you an idea how the first week on the level 1 would look like. So you will have 3 training sessions or 3 training days leading up to 6 training sessions, because it's always AM, PM, morning, afternoon, or morning, evening, and then followed by 2 deload sessions, and then again for another 2 training days for day 6 and 7 for AM, PM workouts. And then Monday you would start with the 6th training day, then again 2 deload sessions, so it kind of alternates. It's not your typical, you do every Monday to Friday your X program. This rotates a little bit because you're doing 3 days on, 2 days off. This lets you work in the level 1 training for almost a total of 23 weeks. And so that's, to be exact, 158 days. And then you're done with the program, which is quite a lot. It's a long program, but just thinking that you can do something in 6 weeks, like many bodybuilding templates, it's just fantasy in my opinion. It takes a bit more time, or you have to repeat this 6-week cycle for a few times, so it takes time. If you do the extreme workout calendar, like the level 2, the very advanced one, the one where you probably need some help in terms of drugs, looks like this. You train basically, let's say you start Monday, you train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 1 day off, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and then again 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on. So you will see it, because of this, it's still a rotating schedule, but you will be done a lot faster. Instead of almost 23 weeks, you will be done in 18 weeks and 1 day, so 127 days in total. So it's a lot shorter. You need really to recover a lot quicker in order to actually get this somehow done. Now, as always, let's have a quick look on the website. This is MAPS PED, and as they say here, highest volume and most challenging muscle building program they have. Many videos, the membership portal, the 4-phase blueprints, the money back guarantee. It's really a hard one. Price tag is $177. And here it's hard to say if this is worth it. Let's put it like this: if you try to hire a coach, you will get a program with it, then it's quite cheap in comparison. Here you really don't need a coach if you know how your body works and if you know how to manipulate your calories depending on what you want to do. So this would be actually a worthwhile investment. If they have a sale and it's down 50% or 40%, then it could be a cool program. But keep in mind that this is really advanced, and while it looks like a lot of fun, if you have trouble training consistently for 5 or even 6 days a week, 1 time a day, really give yourself, before you buy it and even have an idea if you can do this, try 2-a-day sessions once. Go into the gym in the morning and do something easy that you are not going to train in the evening. Like, let's say you're just training arms and a bit of shoulder, but it's not very demanding. And then later on you come back and you do whatever it is you do. Maybe squats or bench or something like the compound movements, and see if you think you can do this 5-6 times a week for up to 23 weeks. It will be not that easy. You really need to have your life structured in a way that you can make this fit. And this kind of transitions into my take on this. The program itself looks really fun, really good, and I think this is going to work with or without help in forms of drugs. It's definitely going to be an advantage to be on something here, but you don't need to, in my opinion. If you are an experienced lifter, let's say if you have been doing this consistently for 3, 4, 5 years, and you know how your body feels when it's speed up, or if you need some really, if you can put them audible and say, okay, I really need to slow down because something is not working. If you know if you have a proper sleep routine and you know how to sleep well, you know how to eat well, you know how many calories you need on a given day, and you can adjust on the fly if you actually need more, because maybe you will see the program might catch up to you and you need to eat more because it's just a lot. And then you can do this. Here's how I would do this if I would ever have a chance to get 23 weeks of, let's say, at least less work in the office than, or no work, maybe you have some kind of sabbatical or whatever, then I would try to tackle this and would make sure that I'm well fed throughout the whole time. So I would not try to be on maintenance calories. I certainly would not cut. I would try to be in a surplus, not eat like an idiot, but just, having a bit more than I need to make sure that I recover as good as I can. So I would wake up, would have a kind of a small breakfast, would go to the gym, do my training, come home. And here it makes sense to use the anabolic window for recovery, meaning getting in some protein with carbs as quickly as you can, because that's the whole benefit of the anabolic window, is that you recover a lot quicker. But usually if you only train once a day, every other day, your body is recovered anyhow. But here in a couple of hours you try to train again, so you really need to get everything you can that helps you to recover. So get a protein shake with some carbs, have it there, chill, whatever that means. Maybe you can take a nap, maybe you can do a little work in office work or study or whatever you have to do to finance this. Then have a bigger meal as lunch. I would probably go in the direction of Stan Efferding's vertical diet, which is designed to help you perform better. So that's why many strongmen do it, because they struggle eating enough, and this is something where they train a lot and they have to eat a lot to sustain all the training and the huge bodies they have. So I would go in this route, trying to eat foods that I can easily digest, like real foods that I can digest, like rice and minced beef, for example. That's because it's already cut down a lot. Digests quickly. Maybe eggs. I would limit my fruit and vegetable intake to a minimum, and also here trying to find things that really work well for me, for my body, and I can digest quickly. Because if you eat something and you don't feel well afterwards, you're really going to get into a lot of trouble later on, because you need to recover, you need to feel refreshed again, you need to digest it quickly, because in a few hours you have your next training session. I probably would have a small carb meal before the next training, do my training, have another shake in the evening. Have to see how this would work out time-wise. But now, as you will eat anyhow for dinner, something with proteins and carbs, you can use the shake or don't. Later on, you will sleep anyhow and recover, hopefully quickly. So trying to get to bed as early as I can in order to get as many hours of sleep as I can, in order to repeat then again the next day. Get up, have breakfast, train, get home, have a shake, maybe have a nap, eat lunch, eat a few carbs before training, have the PM session, get back home, eat again, try to get to bed. So basically, in other words, you will live to lift and to eat and to recover. There is not much time for anything else. There is not much time for your friends. There won't be much time for family, your partner, other hobbies you might have, for gaming, or certainly not for going out partying. This is really something, if you want to do this, find a block of time in your life where you can really get into this, and then you might actually get something out of this, even without the use of anabolics. So yeah, that's my take on this. I hope this was helpful, useful. And again, as I said in the beginning, if you did the program, please let me know. I really would like to know how it went, how you did it, if you were on something or not, just to get an idea. Give me a like on the video, comment anything you feel you want to share, subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye.